You come home after a long day, close the door behind you, and within seconds, you turn something on. Music, a podcast, a YouTube video, the TV, anything. You don't even think about it. It's automatic. But here's the strange part. Just a few generations ago, this moment would have felt completely normal. You would have walked into silence. Real silence. Not the kind with a fridge humming in the background, the kind where you can hear your own breathing. And that silence used to be the default state of human life. For most of human history, people spent large parts of their day in actual quiet, especially at night, especially when they were alone. Today, we treat silence like an emergency. The moment it appears, we rush to fill it. Why? It's not because we're addicted to entertainment, it's because silence has become genuinely uncomfortable, and that discomfort is relatively new. Your brain was not designed for constant stimulation. It evolved in an environment full of long stretches of quiet, periods where nothing much was happening, and those periods were not wasted time. They were when the brain did some of its most important work. When you're not reacting to anything external, your brain switches into what scientists call the default mode network. This is the state where you process emotions, where you reflect on your life, where you connect ideas that seemed unrelated, where creativity actually happens. And none of this works properly when you're constantly consuming content. In 2014, a study at the University of Virginia found something disturbing. Participants were asked to sit alone in a room with nothing to do for 15 minutes. They were also given the option to give themselves a mild electric shock. 2/3 of the men and 1/4 of the women chose to shock themselves rather than sit in silence. They preferred pain over quiet. That's how unfamiliar silence has become. We've trained ourselves to need constant input. And the modern world is more than happy to provide it. Every app, every platform, every device is designed to eliminate moments of quiet. Because quiet doesn't make money, engagement does. So we've built an entire civilization that treats silence as a bug, not a feature. And now most people genuinely don't know what to do with it. When silence arrives, it feels wrong. It feels like something is missing. It feels like you're wasting time. But what if that feeling is the real problem? What if your discomfort with silence isn't a personal failing, but a sign that something important was taken from you? For thousands of years, humans developed a relationship with quiet. It wasn't romantic, it was practical. Silence gave the mind time to sort through the day, to process emotions that didn't have time to land during the noise, to notice things, to simply be with yourself without distraction. That relationship has been almost completely erased in less than 100 years, and we're only now beginning to understand what we lost. Studies show that even short periods of silence can lower stress hormones more effectively than relaxing music. 2 minutes of silence can be more restful for the brain than 2 minutes of calm music. Silence isn't empty. It's full of the brain's own activity we've been starving it of. So when you feel that urge to immediately fill the quiet, you're not being weak. You're experiencing a very modern withdrawal. Your brain has been trained to expect constant input. And now, when the input stops, it doesn't know what to do. That's why silence can feel threatening. But the threat isn't the silence. The threat is what the silence might reveal. Thoughts you've been avoiding. Emotions you haven't had time to feel. Questions you've been too busy to ask yourself. And that's exactly why silence feels so important to avoid. Because once you sit in it, you might have to face yourself. Most people aren't ready for that. So we keep the noise on. We keep ourselves distracted from the one thing we used to know how to be with, ourselves. The ability to sit in silence without panic is not a luxury. It's a skill that humans maintained for hundreds of thousands of years, and we lost it in the blink of an eye. Not because we chose to, but because the world around us made silence almost impossible to find. And now we're paying for it, with shorter attention spans, with weaker emotional processing, with a constant low-level feeling that something is missing. That feeling has a name. It's not anxiety. It's not depression. It might just be your brain asking for something it evolved to have. Time without input, time to think its own thoughts, time to be bored, because boredom is not the enemy. Boredom is the brain's natural state when it's not being fed. And from that state, everything else becomes possible. Ideas, clarity, self-knowledge. You don't need to become a monk. You just need to stop treating silence like a threat. The next time you walk into your home and feel the automatic urge to turn something on, pause for 10 seconds. Just 10. And notice what happens when you don't fill it.